Let me ask you something. What if the most important job you'll ever have isn't the one on your business card? It's not about climbing some corporate ladder or hitting your quarterly targets. No, it's something way more fundamental. Something that actually dictates the success of, well, everything else. Okay, let's get into it.
The legendary business philosopher Jim Rohn, he just hit the nail on the head with this one. I mean, you know that feeling, right? When your responsibilities, your title, the world's expectations, they're all just accelerating. But you kind of feel like you're standing still. It's like you're trying to keep your balance on a tightrope that's about to snap. So the real question is, what do you do about it?
Well, if your 9 to 5 isn't the most important work, then what is? The answer, it turns out, is all about shifting your focus. You have to stop thinking so much about what you do and start focusing on who you are becoming. Because that's it. That's the most crucial work of all, the work you do on yourself.
And that idea brings us to this really powerful concept, lifelong learning. Think of it as the engine of your personal growth. It's all about making a conscious, continuous choice to just improve. So, let's break down what that actually looks like.
What's so interesting about this definition from Utah State University is how it points to two key things: employment and personal fulfillment. See, this isn't just about getting better at your job, it's about building a better, more fulfilling life. Because honestly, the two are completely connected.
And don't worry, this doesn't mean you have to go back to school and get a PhD or anything like that. As you can see here, learning really takes two main forms. You've got your formal learning, which is structured, workshops, degrees, but then there's informal learning. And that stuff is all around us. It's the podcast you listen to on your commute, the language app you mess with for 5 minutes a day, that TED Talk that just sparks a brand new idea. It's accessible to every single one of us, every single day. And here's the crucial point. When we take this learning mindset and apply it to our careers, we call it personal development. And listen, this is not some soft skill or a nice to have. It is the absolute foundation for a successful and, more importantly, a sustainable career.
But why should you care? I mean, really, beyond just keeping up at work, what are the real tangible rewards for dedicating yourself to this journey? Well, it turns out the benefits are profound. They impact both your mind and really your soul.
So let's start with you. Research from USU actually shows that this kind of adult learning directly boosts your self-esteem and your confidence. See, when you learn new things, you're not just gaining knowledge, you're gaining a belief in your own ability to grow. And that gives you this renewed sense of purpose, and man, it makes you way more resilient when stress hits.
And it doesn't stop there. This is literally an investment in your brain's health. Continually engaging your mind can help keep it sharp as you get older and might even reduce the risk of dementia. Plus, when you're learning, you often end up meeting new, like-minded people, building these really valuable social connections along the way.
All right, so you're convinced. The why is crystal clear. So now let's talk about the how. How do you actually build this personal growth engine? Let's look at a practical toolkit, starting with a really powerful mental framework.
Jim Rohn laid out these 5 pillars. First up, fortify your mind. Read stuff that really stretches your thinking. Second, build belief. You do this by consistently keeping tiny promises to yourself, like drinking that first glass of water every morning. Third, fight for clarity. Ask yourself the tough questions, like, what do I really value? And actually write down the answers. Fourth, claim a purpose that's bigger than your paycheck. And finally, number 5, train your discipline until it's stronger than your mood. Maybe that's just using the 2-minute rule to start a task you've been putting off. This whole thing, this is your foundation. And look, this isn't just some motivational pep talk. This is backed by research. A thesis from Tilburg University confirms it. Personal development isn't something separate from your career. It is the very basis for improving it. Plain and simple. When you grow, your career has no choice but to follow.
So where on earth do you begin? You don't need some grand, complicated plan. Just like USU suggests, start small. Go watch a TED Talk on a subject that just fascinates you. Find a podcast. Heck, even those little quick tip videos on social media, that counts. It's micro-learning. The key is just to start creating the habit. And you have to remember this powerful idea from Ron. This journey, it's not glamorous. It's the quiet, consistent effort when absolutely nobody is watching. You're not going to get a round of applause for reading a chapter instead of scrolling through your phone, but that's where the real substance is built. Which brings us to probably the most important mindset shift of all. Personal development, it's not a project you complete, it's not a course you finish and get a certificate for. It is a fundamental change in how you approach every single day. Just like Rohn said, there is no finish line.
You are simultaneously a masterpiece and a work in progress. The goal isn't to arrive at some destination called finished. The goal is to fall in love with the daily process of building.
So I'm just going to leave you with this one question. Forget about the big, scary 5-year plan for a minute. Just focus on today. What's one small brick you can lay? What's one tiny thing you can learn or practice or refine? What part of you will you build today?